Good morning. Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is our weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. As people are getting in the room, let me light this up really quick, so that you guys can actually see it. If you would, go ahead and share your name, where you're joining us from, one thing that you're excited about that you feel life and momentum on. Go ahead and just throw that down in the comments so that we know that you're here. Because when we do these things, we love to interact with you. We love to answer your questions. I love to interact with you the entire time. And also we'll have a little bit of time at the very end to do a little bit of Q&A. I'm just going to double check over here just to make sure that we are looking good. I know we actually started maybe a minute late or something like that, possibly, because we had some kind of a restart or something like that happened. I don't know. Anyway, we're all good, if you will. Oh, and I see some people who are making their way in. There's Gina joining us from Indiana. Excited to be here and learn. Excellent. Anybody else? First name, where you're joining us from, one thing that you're excited about. Go ahead and just pop that in there. So that we can connect with you. And we are going to jump in. Now, listen, last week, we were having a bit of a discussion about some things and that kind of involved around networking. And part of that was, how do you introduce your business when you are a brand new coach and you get that dreaded question of hey, how long have you been doing this? And so we kind of addressed that. And what I said was that this week and over the next few weeks, what we're going to do is we are going to tackle this whole conversation about business networking in general. And for some reason, my PowerPoint's having a little bit of trouble this morning, and who knows, it may or may not come back. I don't know. I see some more people who are making it in. There's Katie joining us from Maine. Super excited about this networking discussion. Michelle joining us from St. Pete. Excellent. Amanda's joining us from Virginia. Excited about learning how to network. Bill, glad to be here on time. Awesome. Very cool. I'm going to try one more time and see if maybe I can get this PowerPoint to work. And if it doesn't, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm just going to have to wing it without having some nice slides for you guys today. So sorry about that. We're going to do our best, though. And let's see if it likes it this time. And if it does, then that would be amazing. And for some reason, it won't allow us to do it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reboot that, and I'm just going to jump in, okay? So, whoops. So the big conversation around all of this, actually, let me see if I can hide that message. The big conversation around networking is, first of all, really, why do we do it? Why should we even bother with networking? Is networking still something that's really relevant for my business in 2020? Absolutely it is. And there's a number of reasons why, really. And still trying to get this thing to reboot, and it's probably not going to. The thing about networking, and let's just think in its most practical matter, as far as what does networking do and how does it enhance what we do? Well, the simple thing, and some of you who have taken the coach part-time workshop that I do, and some of you who have been in the Jumpstart program know, because you've seen this, I've done this before. When someone comes into a coaching relationship with you, these are the factors that are always involved in someone coming into a coaching relationship with you. If you look at this pyramid, the bottom part, which is the largest part, if I was going to draw this more to scale, trust is the largest portion of this. Likability is the second largest portion. And what's really, honestly, the smallest portion is this one that's expertise. It's this little point that's at the top. Now, how does that involve networking? Well, it's really simple, because networking does, I'm going to try to get this up, and then you guys will actually see what I'm talking about. Let's see if it likes it this time. Please like my PowerPoint this time. Please like it. Please don't take forever loading it. Technology is amazing when it works well, and then when it doesn't, it's super frustrating. While this is up, I'm going to hide this little overlay really quick so that you guys aren't distracted by it. And let's see if it likes it now. Please like my PowerPoint. Come on, please like it. Please like it. It's thinking about it. Oh, technology, you're killing me. Oh, there we go. It's going to work. Is it going to work? It looks like it's going to work, folks. All right. So technology, yeah. Now I've got me talking about technology. Here's what we're really talking about when it comes to networking in general. Let me see if I can light this up now. Come on. Come on. It's trying. It's like the little engine that could. I'm like watching the loading thing over here, but I can't show it to you until it finishes loading. Come on, please finish loading. You're killing me. I'm losing credibility and viewers by the second. Come on. There it goes. Okay. So this is essentially what, and now you're not going to show it to my viewers? Are you kidding me? It was there, and now it's not going to show it? Are you kidding me? Come on. One more try. Come on, one more try. There it goes. It's up. Connection adds weight to all three of these factors: trust, likability, and expertise. And when I say that it's adding weight, what it really does is that it escalates all three factors, which means that instead of having a long drawn out, because generally what happens when we meet someone, I like to think of things being kind of as a funnel, and I'm not talking about website funnel when I mean this. What I always talk about to our coaches is that when people get into the funnel, we have the wrong people. We want to keep the wrong people out. We want to have the right people in, right? So when they come through the funnel, as the relationship enhances and it grows and trust and likability increases, what you end up having, because you can see that the commitment level, as the commitment level grows, there's fewer people who get spit out of the spout at the bottom. This is a person who has grown in trust and likability and believes that you can help them. So expertise is really talking about you actually have a solution for them. They believe that you do. What happens is that when you have connection with other people, when you are a connector, this gets escalated, which means that this might take, in some relationships, it might take 6 months. You might cut that in half. Or if the connection is strong enough, this might happen in a week. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's an example. I can think of myself going to a networking group in San Diego. And what takes place in a networking group when you go there is there's a bunch of people who are there that are there for mainly because they're wanting to build their business. And granted, I'm going to talk in the next few weeks about what networking groups I would look for and those kinds of things. But in the general sense, everybody who's in there is looking for connection, and they're looking for partnerships, or they're looking for clients who are in the room. But the reality is that most of the people who are in the room are just simply looking for clients. That is a wrong way to start. It's the wrong mindset. If you go into a networking group and you're just looking around the room for clients, you've already lost and you will not get them. Because what we have got to be in there for is this right here. We've got to be in the room for connection. That's why we're in the room. That's why you're going to win as a coach. And while other people don't get business, you actually will. But I'm not looking for business the first day that I'm in there. I'm looking for connection. That is my end goal when I walk into the room. So if I go into a networking group and no one knows me in the room, then I'm just seeking that initial connection. But if I know someone who's already in the room, or if in my conversations, I can connect with somebody and figure out who we know, which is maybe the same people. If it's someone that they trust, if it's someone that they like, you will escalate this process. Instead of it taking 6 months, it might take 3 months. Instead of taking 3 months, it might take 1 month. Instead of it taking a month, it might only take a week. It depends on the need of the person and how strong the connection is. Because even recently, I would say over the last 6 months, I've had people who contact me from years past, and the only connection they have to me is someone who said, "Hey, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're trying to do. I know this guy. You should give him a call." Now, I'm hundreds of miles, and in some cases, I've been like thousands of miles away from people. But because the connection was strong enough with that individual, all I really needed to do is to show myself as a trustworthy person, to show that I'm likable, and to make a meaningful connection with them because my expertise was already being vouched for. So in all three of those things that you're looking at, every one of these things grows through the connection that you have with other people. This is why you want to network. Why? Because you're going to speed up the process and it's going to help your business in the long run. But the reality is that a lot of you are anxious about this, and it's because you think that becoming a connector is a personality type. And I'm here to tell you that being a connector, a person who connects, a person, it's not just simply a person who knows people. I'm going to help you define that, and you're going to get really good at it. But a connector is not a personality type. You need to focus. There's a key word. Being a connector, the key word is being. It's all about who I am. It's me living in my being. Now, are there certain activities that are involved in being a connector and being really good at this networking game and everything else? Yeah, there actually are, but it all comes in this whole resolve in who you really think that you are. And if you believe that you're an introvert and you're awkward, and I'm an introvert, and I think probably sometimes I'm awkward, but the reality is that there is a deep confidence and there's a deep trust in my heart when I show up somewhere that there is going to be a meaningful connection that is going to be made. Yeah, just because I'm loud, just because I'm a little bit obnoxious, just because I'm a loud voice does not mean that I am an extrovert, and it doesn't mean that that's going to make people find me. Actually, most coaches are introverts. Most coaches are, they're people of wisdom. They're a little bit quieter. They don't put themselves out there. They ask great questions and they listen. It's all of those qualities that actually make you an amazing connector, because you're not showing up just sitting there to put yourself out there. You're showing up to be able to actually listen to people and make a meaningful connection. So I can't get any more slides up, so let me unpack what that really looks like. And for those of you who are just arriving in the room and you don't know what we're talking about, this is what we're talking about. We are talking about the connector's mindset. We need to have the right mindset when we're going in. So what is this whole idea of being when you show up in the room? Well, the first thing is, and these are real mindsets. This is not, first of all, the first mindset, if you didn't get it, first of all, there is not a mindset of getting clients in business. So if you missed that a while ago, I'm going to say it again. This is not the mindset that you show up to a networking event for, or any kind of networking. I am not showing up with a mindset, I'm here to get clients and I'm looking for clients. You will walk away with none, and you will also be salesy, pitchy, all of those things that people don't like, okay? So first of all, the mindset is not showing up to get clients. The second mindset is, in my opinion, in this whole being realm, is that I am going to be a person who gives benefit of the doubt. And what do I mean by that? One of the main reasons why people can't connect and do not connect, why people are, in many cases, are more divided than they have ever been, is because they don't give people benefit of the doubt. And as a coach, that's actually what we bring to play. Is somebody can come to us with anything that they've got. We can see the greatness in them. We can call the greatness out of people. But when you show up somewhere and you have all of these assumptions about people who are in the room, someone who's acting out, someone who's standing over there by the bar, any number of things that are going on in a networking group, the way that someone is dressing, the way that someone is carrying themselves, all of those different things. Because it really is easy to walk in somewhere and whatever lens we walk in the room with based on the experiences that we've had with certain individuals. Listen, if you go in and you've got a criticism about anybody who's in the room, if you go into the room and you have prejudged people before you ever had a conversation, or you judge them really quickly, you diagnose what all of their issues were in about a 1 minute or 5 minute conversation, then the thing is that what you're going to find is that your network, instead of growing exponentially, what you're going to find is, because of the judgment that you have, what you'll end up doing is that you'll end up wiping out most of your possibilities in the room before you ever get started. And so we have to show up there with a mindset is that everyone has value. I'm going to go in and I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Until they personally prove me wrong, I'm going to show up with an open mind, and I'm going to expect, and I need to erase that so that I got excited and threw my eraser. I am going to expect to meet amazing people. And that means when I talk to people, it means that I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to draw greatness out of people. Most people, they don't know. Most people who act out and they're kind of loud and obnoxious and some of those other kinds of things, in many cases, they're trying to cover some of the stuff that's going on in their heart. And they're trying to pretend to be more confident than what they really are. And these are the mindsets that I've got to have for the benefit of other people. I have got to show up. And this is part of that whole B part again, believing I have something of benefit. Because if you show up there and you're all insecure and you're thinking, I don't really have anything, I'm brand new here, I don't really have much to contribute or whatever, you usually won't. You'll usually find yourself isolated in the corner, and like magnetism, you will draw the same kinds of people who think lowly of themselves. What I have to do in any kind of moment that I'm in, when I am with people, at the very least, can you be a friend to someone? Do you have the capability of being someone's friend? Do you have the capability of showing up in any place and just listening to people and just being a listening ear? If I can just bring it down to the most basics, at least to start. I know that all of us have to grow in confidence and we have to grow in some of these things. But if I can whittle it down to the smallest thing, do I have anything of benefit and value to bring to the people in the room? At the very least, I can be a listening ear. And I will guarantee you that almost none of the people in the room have a listening ear in their life. See, this is how we've got to be. I understand being authentic and, hey, I'm real and vulnerable. And I have some fears and some of those other kinds of things, but I'm not going to keep validating fears, and I'm not going to keep validating something that's really not true about me. What's true is that every one of you who show up in the room have something of benefit and value to bring to people. That's actually why you're there. And it's not just business. It's something even more. Number 5, the way that you show up, because this moves us to number 5, how I show up is also being a person of value. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that every one of you who show up in the room have something else to give. And it's not just your business, and it's not just a listening ear. You have connections. That's what you have when you go into the room. And when I go in there, if I listen really, really well to what people are saying, what they are wanting, what their heart's desire is, if I just even listen to the things about their business and all of those other kinds of things, what is going to happen really quickly is I am going to make connections between what they say and probably other people that I know in my life. One of the greatest things that you can give to people, particularly for their business, is more connections, because that's what networking really is. And strategic people understand when they show up in the room is that I don't just have a business to sell, and I'm not just here to sell. I'm thinking of, how can I add value to the people who are around me right now? How quickly can I add value to this person? either through listening or making connections. See, this is the way that a connector thinks, because when you show up with that mindset of, you know what, I've got this mindset. I don't even have a mindset where I'm thinking of selling my business, but I do have a mindset of someone who gives people the benefit of the doubt. Tonight, I am going to show up and I am going to meet some amazing people, because some of these people don't know they're great yet, but they're going to like me because I'm going to call the greatness, and they are going to remember the conversation that they had with me, because I'm going to fish for the greatness. I don't care what kind of crap that they're currently going through. I don't care what they hate about their life or about their spouse or any of those other kinds of things. I am going to pull greatness out of them, and I'm going to continue to call it out until their heart really comes alive. I'm also going to expect to meet some amazing people, because everyone really is amazing. I don't have to be judgmental about people. What I'm going to believe is that there is a person who was born on this planet. Every person who was born on this planet had a destiny to live into. And sometimes people have things that they chose, and sometimes things that were chosen against them, harm that has happened to them or whatever, that kept them from the trajectory in their life. And if I can bring somebody, if I can look back at the inherent value in people, and I can expect that any place that I go, you will find amazing people. You'll find them down the sidewalk in the city that you live in. You'll find them in the alley, but you'll also find them behind the bar at Starbucks or any number of places, if you have the mindset to look for it. What are you looking for? What lens are you looking for? When I do, this is a completely different, you know what I am? I'm on a mission then. I'm not just showing up trying to sell my business, and suddenly I step into my destiny, and I'm not wanting to go networking anymore, because I realize I am going out to make connection. And connection's not just trying to build more relationships so that I can schlep my business later. I am trying to make meaningful connection, because I realize I am a game changer on this planet. I realize as a coach, I am here to call out the destiny and help people to live into their destiny. They weren't able to, for whatever reason. I'm going to remove the barriers, and today people are going to step into their destiny, because you know what? If you believe in God, I believe in God. And I ask every day for setups. Put somebody in my path today that I am going to see them step into their destiny. I ask for those things, and I look for those things all the time. And you know what? They happen to me everywhere that I go. But this is the mindset that you've got to have. This being a person of value is every time that I'm listening, and every time someone, if that wasn't enough of being of value, what I'm trying to do really, really quickly is to connect them and to open doors for them in their business. So I'll give you this as an example. For years, now I would say in the very beginning, when I started thinking about business and actually making connections, I felt like I was in scarcity. I felt like I didn't know anybody, and I can't introduce anybody to anyone, because maybe that would make me lose business or lose influence or whatever. And so what I did is I became a greedy grasper, and I tried to hold on to every person that I knew that was of significance. And I would want them one-on-one. I would want to hold on to them. But as I recognized it later, is that made me actually a very weak individual. And I was in such lack in my life that even those significant people that I had in my life couldn't really add value to them. They really couldn't speak meaning into my life, because I was all so full of lack that even being around those people wasn't really up in my game, and it wasn't really making me feel better about myself. What I started doing, and of course, when I realized that my destiny was actually open the doors for people, what I realized is that knowing significant people and introducing them to people that they could not have met on their own is a way to add value. And right now, every one of you knows significant people in your city, in your community, in your church, in your nonprofit, whatever it is. All of you know significant people right now. And and you know what? I will never forget the people who started opening doors for me. And I started thinking, I looked at the success that was in their life. I looked at the confidence that they lived in their life. And I realized that it's like, man, if it would not been for a couple of these people who realized that givers gain, that if you always have your hands out to give things away, you will never have an empty hand when it comes to your life. And so even if you think that you don't have like, hey, I don't have a bunch of whatever to give to people or whatever, the reality is that all of us have things that we can give right now. It's our time, listening to people. It's giving away our connections. It's opening the doors for other kinds of people. It's putting other people first. It's walking out the door and saying, I'm going to meet amazing people, and who do I get to serve? I'm going to actually listen, and I'm going to serve people so well that trust and likability factor in my life is going to escalate really quickly, and I'm going to have plenty of business. That's the way that it always is an overflow. It's an overflow of being. It's and because of your being, the overflow of seeing, because this is the attitude by which I live life. Now, the funny thing is, and here's what I would say, you don't have to wait to go to a networking group to start to live like that. Today, when you go outside of your door, call people out. Call greatness out of the barista today. Call greatness out of the person at the grocery store today. The person who was in line. I watched my wife do it the other day. She was literally standing in line in a pet store, and my wife reads people so well that she looked at this person, and when she spoke into her life, the woman's response literally was, I feel like, thank you for saying that, because I feel like that I've been a real bother and I've just been letting people down in my life. It was amazing how in that moment. And the craziest thing about it is it completely shifted the atmosphere, not only for that woman, but for every person who was in line in that moment, for my wife to stop in a moment and to speak and to recognize the moment and to be able to speak those words. You have to be a person who's growing in confidence and knowing that you have value and that your words actually matter to be able to do that. And those are things that we can continue to work on. But today, you don't have to look for the most insignificant person in the world. Hey, man, maybe you go to the manager of the store. Maybe you go to the top person and you speak life. Listen, some of the people who are at the tops, I like to call them up and outers. There's some people who seem like they are on top of the world, but they are down and out emotionally and mentally. You have to be a person of boldness and confidence just to go up and say, hey, I just wanted to encourage you today because I saw some of your employees doing amazing work. And I believe that you're creating a culture over here where people of excellence and for people to thrive. When you speak those kinds of things, my wife and I, we were at this really nice restaurant one night and we were eating, and we know Louisiana cuisine because we're Louisiana people. And usually when you go out to, listen, I've lived in California since 2007. And the thing about California is when you see Southern and even some of the places who have a Southern tradition chains that open up, there's just something about when you eat it, it does not have soul because it's not made by Southerners. And you have to be a Southerner to put soul in gravy and chicken. And it's not just a recipe. There's actual soul. Like there's something about my grandmother's soul and my mom's soul every time I ate. For those of you who are uncomfortable with that, Southerners would understand this. But the reality is that we went to this restaurant. It said Louisiana cuisine, and they nailed it. It was one of the best meals that we have had in the last, since we've been married or whatever. And my wife actually went all the way into the kitchen to find the chef, and he was terrified because they're so used to hearing crap from people and hearing negativity or whatever. But my wife makes it a point to go all the way to the chef to tell him what an amazing job and wanted to know about his life and everything else. And I watch my wife do those things. So, some of these things that you watch people do, like I watch my wife, it can actually become a tool in your tool belt. Anybody can grow in this stuff. Even if you suck at it right now, you can actually become really, really good with just a handful of these tips. Let me look really quickly at our comments that are in here. Desiree says, I'm from Louisiana too. Yeah, what city in Louisiana? We're New Orleans people. We lived in the North Shore in New Orleans and in the suburbs of New Orleans for the whole time that we were there. Let me know that though. Desiree says, I will speak greatness today to someone. Awesome. Awesome. Let me see. Who else do I need to say hello to? There's Tracy, extrovert, just joined a network group. Awesome. Andrea says, hello, everybody. And Tracy says, trust is definitely a must. Very cool. All right. Latanya joined us from South Carolina. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts that they would like to ask? There's Muhammad from Saudi Arabia. Bob and Robbie who are here. Welcome. Awesome. Let me pay the bills really quick, and then I'm going to take a couple of extra questions as you guys are in the room. But let me pay the bills really quick, okay? So for some of you, I know you haven't actually gotten trained and certified as a coach yet. Well, it's about time. You know why? Because if you've been Googling it, if you've been thinking about it, it sounds like a classic case of procrastination. And we're really good at treating procrastination and also keeping you healthy. Oh, let me add this one thing. And just as some light humor, we are the only life coach certification program with 100% guarantee that you won't contract coronavirus. How is that possible? Because we are fully online. Hey, if some of you are taking this way too seriously, you need to unlike my page because we like to joke around here, okay? We are fully online. We are fully online on demand. Like you can get trained and certified within 30 hours. And you can actually enroll today. There's a link inside this description. You can enroll today. There's 10 core modules that cover the core competencies. And each module concludes with an activity so that you are putting that to practice in your life. It concludes with an exam. When you score above 70% on your exam, then you've earned your credential at that point. Now, the thing about it is that we don't just limit you there. It's only $195. I should put that back on the screen. It's only $195 to get trained and certified. And again, this is fully online and on demand. Why? Because 98% of our students work full time and they need a self-paced program that's on their own time. And you can do this from any device. You can do it from your mobile device. You can do it from a browser, on your computer, your laptop, your tablet, whatever. We've created that for you. We've made it easy. You also get a free listing on lifecoachmatch.com. That's normally $75 a year. You also get social media integration tool for your credential. So rather than just having a certificate on your wall, you can pull this into LinkedIn. You can pull it into all of your social media onto your website. That way you're actually leveraging your credential. But for some of you, and you enjoyed what we were talking about today, we do have a Jumpstart program. Now, Jumpstart includes the only live portion of any of our programs, which is a weekly group coaching call. And I answer every coaching and every business related question during that. Jumpstart is a 20 module business development roadmap. And we give you the A to Z on how to develop your business. How do you discover your target market? How do you discover your niche? How do you sell? How do you answer objections? How do you create multiple streams of income? Some of you may think that the only way to get a client is to find a one-on-one client, but there's a number of different ways that you can actually offer coaching services. And we show you how to do that so that you can build a business that, and you're learning from people who are multi-six-figure coaches. I've been really successful in coaching. I'm not hiding the secrets of coaching. I believe that I can't guarantee someone's success, but I believe that if you want to do it, we can actually remove all the obstacles for you to be really, really successful. If you come to play and you seriously want to build a business, we can help you build a coaching practice around who you are. Not just telling you, do these 5 things and do it just like everybody else. We actually show you how to build this around creating your own brand so that you are authentically you, but breaking into wealth. So in any program that you look at, and that's fine. If you find another program to go to, that's cool. Just make sure that you ask, are your, not just about the training, but ask their coaches who are doing the training themselves. Have you been successful at starting and running a business? You need to make sure that people have actually been successful, because coaching is about 10% the coaching skills you learn. It's about 90% business. Inside Jumpstart as well, that you see for the $97 a month, you do get trained and certified. So if you pick the $195, that's a one-time payment just for getting certified. But if you pick Jumpstart, you get everything that I'm talking about. You get feedback on anything that you're working on. There's an online community where you can role play with other coaches, all of those things. It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. And for those of you who think that's a lot of money, it's really not. Most of you are already spending it at Starbucks. And what do I mean by that? I mean this. Starbucks, if I got this cup of Starbucks, it's going to be, boy, I'm writing messy. Give me a red marker. Starbucks is about what, $3.25 for a small cup at minimum. That's $97 a month. How do I figure that? Because if you only bought the cheap cup of coffee once a day for a month, that's $97 a month. And honestly, most of you are spending more than $3.25, but you're probably not building a six-figure business with that. So if you want to be a part of that, the link is in the description. I want to look really quickly at any other messages that we have in here. Robbie said, it's so good and well worth it. Paul is an excellent trainer who genuinely wants to see you succeed. I appreciate that. Robbie's in our Jumpstart program right now. I really appreciate that. Desiree says, it is an awesome course. I received my certification from LCTI in 2017. Awesome. Thank you. Sandy's joining us from Dallas. Dallas is in the house. Oh, and Desiree says that she's from the New Orleans West Bank. Awesome. Very cool. I'm so glad that you're here. And I do know some rigs who are in a couple of different places, some that are around the New Orleans area. Could be relative, may not be. I don't know. Michelle says, it's beautiful how you appreciate your wife's greatness. I do. I would have never become who I was meant to be without my wife. And I don't know how badly I'd be floundering at life if it had not been for her. She's absolutely amazing. Like, some people like me and then they meet my wife and they're like, oh, she's amazing. Like, she's like by far the better half. And I got a much better deal in the situation of marriage than she did. Awesome. Any other questions that we have before we head out for the day? I'm going to give it about 20 more seconds. Oh, and know this, you guys are about 30 seconds behind when I'm saying this. So if I disappear and you didn't ask your question, or you didn't get your question answered, that's what it is. Gina says, Karen says, hello, how do I get over the stigma that I'm too old at 40? Is that what you're saying? At 40? I'm 45. The only stigma that I know is in between the ears. That's the only stigma that's out there. Our oldest coach was like in their 80s getting trained and certified. And if some of you have heard me talk about what I would say is releasing stages into your calling and purpose, because I do a lot of destiny coaching. And one of the things that I always that I've been able to recognize in the patterns is that in your 20s, you don't really get released fully into your destiny. 30s, not so much. You're trying on and getting more experience. 40s is when you start to have a better idea and a sense of yourself. But you know that it's actually not until you get 50, 60 years old where there's real convergence that's happened in your life, and all those things, because you have to have the breadth of experience and you have to have some failure. So like kids who are in their 20s and they're all excited about life and everything, in many cases, we have a lot of parenting that's going on that's preventing people from ever failing. So it's actually delaying their growth. And that's why you'll see so many people who are like in their 20s and 30s, and some of them quit working and all of these other kinds of things. And it's like, because that was their first failure in their life and they didn't really know what to do with it. And so really it takes this long to finally get comfortable in your skin, to have a breadth of experience. Because if I do destiny coaching with a younger person, there's just not a lot of data that we can point to help them get there. But when the older you get, now it's not to say that you people who are in your 20s and 30s can't do this thing. You absolutely can. But the manifestation of your destiny, hopefully you're living your life in something big enough that you will not fulfill it in 20 years. That it's going to at least take 30, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Otherwise, you're going to be retired at 50 and then you're going to be bored and depressed or something like that. Hopefully, we're living into more and we're becoming more. So hopefully that's helpful. Oh, Karen says 64. Yeah, Robbie says, I'm 62 and I'll be 63 whether I get certified or not. That was brilliant. Good coaching there, Robbie. You will, and that is a fascinating thing to say. Oh, that was just brilliant. Yeah, whether you get certified or not, you're going to turn 63. Wow, that was brilliant. And Robbie also says, you have life experience and wisdom with every year you are alive. You bring tremendous value to others. That's awesome. Cool. Katie says, thank you. Awesome. Gina says the Jumpstart program is helping me understand the industry better. Awesome. Zach says, good word, Paul. Thanks for the encouragement and information. Awesome. Any other questions before we head out? We're in a little bit of overtime, but we're all good here. I'll stick around for a couple of minutes. And it's 11:11 again. Like, I keep seeing 11:11, which is kind of a transition number, which is really exciting to me because I'm just paying attention, apparently. So that's really cool. All right. Any final question? All right. Well, do me a huge favor here. Like this post, share it, comment. It tells Facebook that we're doing a really good job. Also, do me a favor and click the link that is in this description. And you can get more information about our program. You can also sign up for the free course, and that'll allow you to get your feet wet, kick the tires of coaching. If you haven't come to a place where you're committed to going after that in your life, sometimes getting that experience in what is coaching and doing some of the exercises and some of those things can give you the confidence to move on with that choice, and gives you the option of developing a relationship with us. Robbie says, another gem of teaching. Thank you, Paul. You are welcome. Bill says, being old is a mindset. That is true. I appreciate that. And Mindy says, thank you so much. Awesome. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. It was a great day. Have a great rest of your week and take care.